Good afternoon, good evening, good morning. I don't know what part of the world you're in or how you are feeling, but if you woke up and can hear my voice right now, you should at least smile and thank somebody. I want to thank God, but thank somebody who woke you up this morning with a grateful and just a thankful spirit. That'll get you started. I'm your host, Kevin Impeccable Peck, along with my co-host, Courtney Alexander, zooming in, streaming in all the way from Chicago. How are you this morning?
I'm
Afternoon?
doing I'm doing great. I'm blessed to be alive today and I'm preparing for this snowstorm. We're about to get hit.
We don't want to hear nothing about snow. We want spring just sneak on in and skip snow this year. This is the Chicken Box. If you have never heard of it and not from the Baltimore area, if you're from the Baltimore area and you never heard of a Chicken Box, shoot yourself. But if not, it is where we come and speak our truth. If you're from Baltimore, it is four wings or more, fries, salt, pepper, ketchup, some hot sauce, some nice grease. You know what I mean? Just it's all about the grease in the chicken box. It's all about the flavor, and you can get a half and half, like some other people call it Arnold Palmer. But if you're viewing us right now, the chicken box is where you come to speak your truth about the topic or about what you feel. Sometimes you just have to get something off your chest, and sometimes we don't have to agree with your truth. And you know what? That's okay. Because sometimes people want you to agree with exactly what they're saying so much that they get angry at you because you have a different perspective. Today, we're talking about Black people versus the Baltimore music scene. Come on now. You know, everybody got the down south sound. They got West Coast. They got Chicago, got the house music, but Baltimore has its own core sound one, and it has its own unique set of artists that usually do things against the grain. And they usually fight the harder fight, but when they get through, they break through in a big way. So we got some special guests, some people who are right here, born and raised on the streets of Bmore and have experienced this music scene, and they're gonna fill you in because sometimes you'll hear like somebody do something and they say Baltimore house music or something in the song, but they don't really know the knit and the grit of where the Baltimore music scene comes from. So Courtney, let's introduce our first guest, Mr. Easy Jackson. I'll let you introduce him and we can get right into it.
Yes, indeed. Easy Jackson is an MC, producer, and community organizer. He recently founded the record label slash collective Epic Fam. He's the frontman of the hip hop fusion band Soul Cannon and a solo artist. He was born in New York, but he has lived in Baltimore since age 9. Easy loves music, and his father was a singer and painter, and his mother was a poet. He graduated from the Baltimore School of Arts as a theater major, and he is also on the DC chapter of the Grammys Association. And 3 years ago, Mayor Brandon Scott appointed Easy to the Arts and Culture Transition Team. Sorry, I'm tripping. Easy closed out the summer of 2022 strong by having a weekly showcase at the Keystone Corner.
Welcome to the show, Easy. We don't have no horns. We need some burn, burn, burns. We need some all kind of cheers. How you feeling today, brother?
Pretty good, man. Thanks for having me, y'all.
We didn't know you were a seasoned actor too, my good man.
Look, yeah,
was
well,
that was that was that your first love or was it music?
um, I think both of them were kind of hand to hand when I was growing up.
So
I still love both of them equally. I haven't done a lot of theater, um, or acting recently, but I'm starting to feel that bug come again now. So don't be
so tell
surprised to see me out
tell
there.
us about Easy Jackson's journey into music in Baltimore. What was your impetus? What got you started?
I would say the thing that's probably got me first started was back in the day. They used to be ciphers down at the Inner Harbor, and Baltimore had this rap collective called New Testament, and New Testament, and a lot of the guys, a lot of the rappers from around the city used to come down the harbor, and we'd cipher. So I would say that was my first real like experience with Baltimore music, Baltimore creatives, and then over the years I just found any opportunity I could to get out there, get my chops up, um, Yeah.
So for those who are just tuning in and never heard of Cypher, break that down for the audience. This
Oh,
might be somebody who never heard of it.
yeah. I mean, the cipher is that's where hip hop is born. It's like it's a bunch of guys and girls in a circle, and each MC go one at a time, and you really try your best to wow the crowd. You know what I mean? And there's usually somebody beatboxing right there, carrying the rhythm, the beat with their mouth, and that's really like where most MCs from my era, I would say, come up out of the cipher. You got, you kind of had to be outside with it, in order to really learn and get respect.
Is that so? That's where you sharpen your skill. That's where
Yeah, that's the
you
dojo.
that's that is the hip hop dojo,
Yeah,
the cipher.
yes, sir.
Courtney, what you know about the cipher in Chicago?
Not much, but I know out here, I guess like people do like a similar thing, and you can go to like different venues, and it's like a whole like freestyle type of like rap battle. So that's so cool.
I got booed my first time performing in Chicago. I
You
was
got
like,
booed in Chicago?
yeah, I got booed in Chicago. It was like a show, like an open mic showcase or something in the Wild Hunnets. It was like a rec center or something in the Wild
Roseland.
Hunnets. Yeah, and at the time I was like 19, and that was my first. I think that was my first time performing anywhere outside, and I think they pretty much booed me because I wasn't from there. Um, but I love that story because it's like it helped me get my skin thick. I hadn't been booed before, and
So you never been booed
probably
in
never
Baltimore?
since. None. Nope.
Never been booed in Baltimore. That's what as I meet people who come to the city, some known artists have said they have gotten booed
Yeah.
in Baltimore. So I found
Yeah.
out
This city is tough. I always tell people, man, I'm grateful that I've gotten the kind of love I've gotten here because they don't like nothing. This city don't like nothing. So I feel fortunate to have gotten the kind of support that I've gotten over the years in Baltimore.
once they know you and love you, they love you. That's kind of how it is here in Bmore. We got another guest, and I think you guys are very familiar. I'm bring him into the conversation. Mr. Don Trump. Taryn, you can bring him on the screen.
Hey,
Don is my
man.
guy. He's
What's up?
mobile right now. Let me just tell you, Don has worked with Drew Hill, Cisco, Jess, Hilarious, Black Star, Boss Man. No, the list is the list. Don had one of
Easy
the
on there
little
too. What up, Easy?
everybody on the Easy. He's worked with Easy before.
Yes,
This
sir.
is Black People versus the Baltimore Music Scene. If you just tuned in, we got special guest Don Trunk
What
and
up? What up?
Easy. And Don's real name is Donovan, but most people call him Don for short. But he started his business right out of his trunk. So they have now since coined him as Don Trunk. Don, welcome to the Chicken Box, my brother. Good to see you.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you, my brother.
Man, I've
Definitely
seen Don
glad to
grow
see
up.
you.
He's now a daddy. So if we
Yeah.
can add that to
Car
his
seat in the
list,
back. Car seat is really in the back.
the car seat in the back is a definite.
Yes. I just picked
So
over.
so so Don, when did you first get introduced to music, and what kind of inspired you to start producing or to even own your own studio?
Um, really, I always loved music as a kid. Like I used to love to bang on things. My mother used to just buy toys, and I used to make music with the toys. And I started going to a lot of the freestyle battles, 5 Seasons, like all that stuff. I used to love to go to those events, but I used to love to record in my house in the basement because I realized like I could turn that into a business one day. You know what I'm saying? Like it's cool to record artists and make music with them. During the Stop Snitching era, I had a good time recording a lot of artists during that time. So
The
it was
stop snitching era.
yeah, when they used to have these DVDs, they used to have these DVDs and stuff like the Smack DVDs, and they used to have mixtape era like the 50 Cent, New York, um, Who Kid, DJ Clue era, like during that mixtape era when bootleg CDs was really popping off in New York like that, and then Baltimore artists started catching up on and started burning their own CDs. Like I started recording during that era.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Baltimore music scene is a different scene. If you just tuned in, you're on the Chicken Box, powered by the Afro American newspaper, which is the DMV's oldest black business, over 130 years. We've been here informing, educating, and inspiring, and it is great to talk today about black people versus the Baltimore music scene. People want to know because people hear about all these other scenes, but we want to go behind the scenes today and just get a different perspective to see what it is to come up, dreaming about making it in this music business and finding your space in Baltimore. Easy, talk to me.
I think one of the things I always tell people, man, Baltimore has a lot of diversity in the kind of music that we put out. So, you within hip hop in Baltimore, there are different genres and different styles of hip hop. And we got a vibrant live, indie punk scene, electronic, Baltimore club. You know what I'm saying? It's a huge cross section of flavor. I think that we don't get a lot of the credit um for that, just how diverse we are. And my moving around, what I've learned and what I hope to what I try to get a lot more artists to do is come outside of their silos. One of the things that really helped me was when I started performing at not just the hip hop spots. I started out like Don, going to Five Seasons and Warm Wednesdays and what was the other one? Organic Soul and there were a
Shout
few.
out.
Yeah, the Turntable Club used to be a spot over east on Jefferson. They did a lot of dope hip hop events. But then after a while, I had to get out there and start, rocking with the jazz cats and rocking with, the rock bands and, just seeing all the other scenes that are out there helped me kind of grow my fan base and, grow my support.
Absolutely. Courtney, what do you know about the Baltimore music scene, or do you know anything?
I'm gonna be honest, not really. I just know like the New York style and like the Chicago style. So I haven't really heard like the Baltimore style of music.
It's funny because Chicago actually has a similar style to that we with Baltimore club music. And you always hear about Baltimore club music, you always hear about Jersey, but Chicago has a similar like house club sound that's
Right.
that's older than the Jersey one.
I don't know. Is it older than Baltimore Club? I think it is.
No,
What
Baltimore
Chicago
Club
House?
is before House.
Um, I think it might be. I don't
no,
think club music is before house.
I think house music is before Baltimore club music.
Yeah, house music is definitely
Yeah,
before Baltimore club.
Baltimore club music is the child of Baltimore house music, I think.
Cause house music is definitely influenced what we was influenced by with
Yeah,
Baltimore club. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
The bass lines, the four on the floor. We just added, more progression on the drums. You know what I'm saying? The thick breaks and we just added a little bit more house sauce. And you start seeing Philly and more so Philly and Jersey. Mimicking some of our sounds. I know that's gonna be an argument later on, but
yeah. No, I still stick
it's
to that, Don.
Baltimore.
They biting, they biting, and
Yeah,
it's cool.
that's gonna
So,
definitely be an argument.
so tell us, when you both producers, or Easy, you produce as well, or you just
I don't produce the way Don produces. Don is a musical genius,
Thank you.
and he produces. He's right there, hands on. I produce more in the way like Diddy does. Like I like to put the right people in the right room and create songs that way. Kind of guide the record, make sure that the record turns out, um, you know, in the way that I hear it in my head, in the way the collaborators want it. So I produce in that way, but I'm primarily, you know, artist.
absolutely? So Don, like as a producer, what makes the Baltimore sound club music? Since that's the most recognized right now, what makes the Baltimore club music record?
The Baltimore artists. I hate to say it that way, but it's the Baltimore artists. Like
What about as far as production?
I'll use Rod Lee, Dookie Man, Boo Man. I'll use those people as examples. Black Star. The
Yeah,
cadence in their voice, the struggle they come from, going up the docks, being accepted by your friends, getting drunk, hanging out with Pork Chop, hanging out with K Swift, sending her the record, hoping the record get on by the time you get to the club. That's what Baltimore Club is. A lot of people forget that essence. That it was just to be heard at the docks and at Hammerjacks. It was to be heard by your friends. It wasn't about publishing a record, becoming just as big as Lil Jon or Kanye West. It was like, yo, this is what I'm going through. I want to dance my pain away. I want a crazy leg. I want to hang out with my friends. I want to get drunk. I want to stay out to the docks 5 o'clock. I want to go, do whatever. It's about the artists and what they're going through, their pain, their struggle, baby mama getting on your nerves. Just want to have a bottle of Absolute, some Henny at the end of the night. That's what it's about. The Baltimore artists. It's not
Yeah.
necessarily about the production of it. It's the person. That's what I think. That's what I always look at it.
one of the Craig Talley asked Don, who's your favorite producer?
For me,
Yeah,
Baltimore club producer or period.
I guess you can give both.
My favorite Baltimore club producer is Black Star because he just himself. You can't really put him in a box. You can't really say he sound like this person or that. He just wake up and be like, I'm myself and I'm gonna do what I want. My favorite producer in the industry would probably be Pharrell because he's always stick to his identity of what he want. He from Virginia. It makes no absolute sense how he made those sounds sound together on the Triton. So I just like those hands-on producers that have no problem putting their identity in the song.
Yeah.
Dope. How about you, Easy?
Man, I got a lot, but I'm like hip hop wise, I'm a Wu Tang head. So RZA, I grew up just loving RZA's production and Dilla. I would say Dilla and Questlove from the
Yeah,
Roots. I don't think he gets enough credit for the way he produces. I mean, Questlove has made some amazing records. So yeah, I say those. I say those are my top three. I say Baltimore Club. I Black Star, but I'm a big fan of Boo Man. Boo
yes,
Man, Boo
Woman is
Man, Boo Man was my. I really rock with Boo
Courtney
Man.
is like, who? If you just tuned in, this is Baltimore.
I know Courtney like I don't know none of
I
these
should
people.
check these people out.
This is black people versus the Baltimore music scene. May have never heard of some of these producers, but that's why we have Google, and you can look it up, and YouTube, and you'll find some of the music. Sometimes you got to search for some things just to hear a different perspective. Sometimes you listen to the same radio station. I like how you said that, Easy. You had to get out your comfort zone
Yeah,
and go to a different place.
yeah.
And
I actually
sometimes
I actually just worked with another one of my favorite Baltimore club producers, Mighty Mark. I just did something with him on Sunday. Um, and we've been talking about doing something for a long time. But Mighty Mark is one of the younger producers that I think has really held the torch for Baltimore club music.
absolutely. I think we just got joined by the Afro CEO, Dr. Draper. This is a generational show, you guys, and so I represent the Gen X. Dr. Draper, how are you this morning?
I am
Afternoon.
well this afternoon. Hello, everyone.
hello. How you
Hey,
doing?
Dr. Draper.
I'm well, thank you.
What about you, Easy? What gen you represent?
I think I'm like the oldest group of millennials. Yeah, yeah. We was like the first generation that had computers in our school. Old
and,
millennials, yeah.
and Don, old millennials. That sounds funny. And Don is getting out the car. I don't know if you can still hear us, Don, but we'll get back to you in a second. Uh, we'll put you on mute. Oh yeah, he dropped. Maybe he's going into the studio. So if you just tuned in, this is Black people versus the Baltimore music scene. Every part of the country has a certain music scene, but then there's some cities that can break out in a certain region. So Philadelphia, Baltimore, New York, DC has always had very strong and different kind of sounds. Philly and Baltimore kind of close sometimes, and they say sometimes Baltimore is a small New York, just on the spectrum of the different kind of music that people enjoy and like here. Uh, Another question: why do a lot of rap groups break in Baltimore? However, to Baltimore rappers, I don't know. I can't understand the question.
I wonder if he's asking if why they break up.
I don't know. Maybe we can come back to it. Don is on the move in the streets of Baltimore. Don Trunk, who started out of his trunk. The Wi-Fi might not be good when you're on the move. We're not sure what part of the
They
city
walk
it
in the studio in like 5 minutes. I was just making sure the gate was straight.
Okay. Welcome back. What generation did you rep, John? You millennial or Gen Z?
I think I'm millennial.
it, it seems like everybody has a certain.
What era is the last era that can? What era was the last era that could put a CD in a CD player and actually hit dial-up internet? What era is that?
Probably the beginning of millennial.
Yeah.
But I think Gen X, we definitely had CDs.
Okay, yeah.
And we definitely had dial-up. But you a
Okay.
young daddy. I don't even think you 30 yet, so you definitely not a Gen X. So Dr. Draper,
You said 30 yet?
yeah.
I'm 37 years old.
Are you?
Yeah.
And I'm getting old, Don.
Anyway. I'm 37. I'm 37 years old.
You are now you're official millennial. You always look so much younger. But the Baltimore
I know,
music
right?
scene goes all the way back to Billie Holiday
I'm gonna be
and Cab Calloway. And Dr. Draper, what was the Baltimore music scene back when you were?
It wasn't that far back, that's for sure. It was the absolute best music scene. I'm gonna tell you why. Because there's not a person in any generation that doesn't know the music of a Marvin Gaye, a Smokey Robinson. I don't care what generation you're in, the 60s Motown sound, that music of that era, even going into the early 70s with things like Funkadelic, I think people resonate. You can play that music today, and little kids are singing Marvin Gaye and Tammy Terrell's song, and Tammy Terrell died over 50 years ago. I'm just saying I say that's the absolute best music scene, and it used to be in Baltimore when during the Motown era. Baltimore always got the music first, even before New York.
So,
Tried it
my
out in Baltimore.
question is, what artists were from Baltimore during that era?
The artists that were from Baltimore, there was a group called the Royalettes. They came out of Baltimore. There's some others that came out of Baltimore too. I'd have to really.
Was it the Soft Tones?
If there was a group called the Soft Tones.
Of course, we know Fat Daddy. Fat Daddy had a Christmas record.
Yeah.
Easy, you know that song?
They still play that song now at Christmas time.
They still play that a lot.
They play that song. You know.
Absolutely.
But there were others that came out of Baltimore as well. My stepmother was a jazz singer. Somebody just asked that, but she's in that earlier generation, Demita Joe.
Oh, they also said Frankie Lyman, which I didn't know.
Okay, all right.
Was from Baltimore. If you just tuning in and you guys are listening to this, put in the chat if you know some Baltimore artists who they may have gone national or international, or that were just superstars right here in the Bmore area.
I want to add Impeccable. Back in the day, when the albums came up, and I know they still call them albums in 2023. If it was an African American artist, their picture more than likely was not on that album.
Mm.
They either had a stock photo, generic photo, white kids dancing, or something like that.
Photo of a horse, yeah, something.
Of course.
Something. I'm just joking. So this is the music. So Easy, what's the name of your studio, Easy?
Well, I got a label called Epic Fam. We work out of a couple different studios though, but Epic
Okay.
Fam is the label that we started in 2020. And we put out a compilation album in October of 2021. And we still promoting it, working on the next album.
So what you have some new artists as well coming out?
Yeah, I mean we've been working with a bunch of different Baltimore artists on this album. I tried to get a lot of my favorites, younger and seasoned. So, artists like Stars is on the album. This guy Stars is from here. He's been around a little while. DDM is also a Baltimore vet. He's on the album. My man Greenspan is on a couple tracks. Greenspan's been around a while. And then we got some, younger artists. Wifty Bangor right now is one of our top priority artists. Um, she's from she's from Prince George's County by way of uh, West Africa, but she went to school here in Baltimore. She went to the School for the Arts actually. So I'm enjoying. We've been enjoying working with her and Louis Otto, just a bunch of really bright young artists. A guy named Ira Nation and Dre Thompson, two of my favorite writers.
Mm.
Um, yeah. So I tried to put together a nice collective of artists that kind of came from different kinds of backgrounds and sounds, and we recorded a whole lot of songs. We recorded probably like over 100 songs for this compilation album, and we ended up settling with 23. I think it's 23 tracks.
So
Um,
where do they find the music?
it's streaming on everything. It's streaming on
Okay.
everything, and it's a funny thing. We actually Universal Records at one point had the album taken down because we had a sample that we didn't clear. So again, just starting the label, I'm also learning a lot. But we got the sample cleared and put the album back up on streaming. So wherever you listen to music at, just just search Epic Fam, uh, and the album's right there.
Man, Don the daddy is there teaching your son how to produce. He's in
Yeah,
Dream Studio.
he
What's
been
up,
in
young man?
since day one. Say, I'm a studio baby. Say, hey,
He
you
got to
go.
come to work. He got to come to work with daddy. Let's see if we can get a close up of
The,
him real quick.
the crazy moving. The crazy thing is, I'm breaking down the studio. We getting ready to move to Atlanta, and this is probably his second time in the studio. Right?
How old is he?
Huh?
How old is he?
He'll be one on March 4th. So Saturday he'll be one.
Uh-oh.
Yep.
Somebody's got a birthday coming up.
Yep.
You want you streaming live and you're not even 2 years old, buddy.
Yeah. He been
You
streaming.
already you already ready for the camera. Courtney, what questions are going through your mind for these Baltimore
You said.
geniuses?
You said with question. What?
Yeah,
Courtney.
I'm curious about this. Like when you created your music, what was the thought process that went into it, and like how did you like incorporate different elements of Baltimore like into that sound?
Oh, I sneak.
Easy or done?
I sneak it. I sneak it in. You want to tell him? You want to tell him? I sneak it in all the time. Like I put him in now that I got him. I put him in the track like secretly in there. Like he's like how Timbaland used to put the baby cries and all that stuff in the track. Tell him you on the ad libs. So I put him in the track. I put Baltimore Club under a lot of the tones. Like I did just a hilarious record. If you listen to Baltimore Club behind the whole track, you really can't tell. Like the whole track is Baltimore Club slowed down. And I do it with a lot of artists because a lot of Baltimore artists don't really, I hate to say this, don't really like to praise our sound. They don't really want to acknowledge it because they feel like they're not going to make it in the industry if they hear the sound. So I kind of put it in there as like a reverse clap or an 808 kick, like something like in there just to remind them of where they from. That's the best way I put it in my production.
Absolutely. Thank you, Courtney. Someone had asked, how question was, okay, here's the question is rap groups like Wu-Tang and others, they break in Baltimore, but however, Baltimore rappers seem like they don't get much love in the New York rap industry or other places. Have you guys noticed that?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a I think that's kind of an infrastructure issue. I mean,
Yep.
New York has always been, a leader at almost everything. You know what I'm saying? And we have yet to really build the kind of infrastructure where artists can really be successful from here. I think I think once we're able to do that, we will get a lot of respect from New York artists. But I will tell you this: just on the indie level, New York has a lot of respect for Baltimore artists. I've always gotten love in New York. You know what I mean? And I know quite a few other artists who actually go up there and work and they have their fan base. It's just we have yet to see it on like a large scale.
Right.
Gotcha. So, if you just tuned in, this is Black People versus the Baltimore music scene. Just explain the difference between the indie level, which would be the independent artist, and I guess your mainstream. Why don't you can y'all break that down for me?
I mean, in short, indie artists, you self-funding. You know what I mean? You
Yep.
you you doing we do everything ourselves. From soup to nuts. Like everything is on us. Whereas industry, you get the backing of major labels, you get marketing budgets and all that kind of stuff. And when you're indie, you kind of doing all of that yourself, or you and your team.
I mean, you hit it. Number one, budget is the
Yeah,
biggest thing. Like an indie artist not gonna really have $100,000 to promote one song. You know what I'm saying? They're not gonna have the budget to really fund a tour or to even really trend on the internet the way they're supposed to.
right.
So indie artists is straight out of pocket. Like being a studio owner, indie artists budget probably $1,000 for the whole album.
Yeah,
Major, major label artists, we talking a couple 100,000. You understand what I'm
yeah.
saying? It's a big difference. You know what I'm saying?
Dr. Draper, you have any question?
Well, I guess and I missed the first part of the chicken box. So first of all, hello to everybody. But I would be
Hello.
interested if you all haven't already talked about it. What would you say to an aspiring young artist that just they have a lot of talent. A lot of people have a lot of talent. But what would you say to them in terms of what's the best on ramp? What do you tell them? I know you all probably get inquiries all the time. Somebody says, "Listen to this demo," or I'm the best thing since sliced bread. I mean, what do you say to people?
You want to do that easy?
I mean, I usually try to tell younger artists like just always hold on to your passion and keep having fun with it. Somebody asked, "Do I like the business side of the industry?" I don't. I hate the business side of the industry, but it is necessary to learn it. And so the thing that's kept me doing it is like having fun, enjoying it. And if you're not enjoying it, you're not having fun. Don't do it. Because this is a hard grind. It's not for the weak at all. So
Nope.
I always say if you don't love it, don't do it. I don't like when an artist come and tell me, oh, I just want to put this one album out, or I'm just trying to make some money. It's like, bro, that's you're wasting people's time.
Right. I mean, you hit it on the nail. Have fun. Like at the end of the day, especially from an indie artist, you're never gonna have a budget that works. You're never gonna have enough time to finish the project. You're never gonna have enough people that you want to support. You're never gonna have the right musicians in the studio exactly the time when you want it. You're never gonna get the best verse. Just have fun, create whatever you can. I don't care how good the quality is. I don't care if you got Radio Shack mic. Just make the music. Just make it.
Radio Shack.
Yeah.
Yeah, I started off with a Radio Shack mic. Like I'm gonna be real. I started off with a Radio Shack mic, a Dell computer my aunt gave me, and I was charging $25 an hour in my grandma's basement. And then fast forward, years later, the cheapest room is $85 an hour. And the cheapest mic in there is $3,000. So you just get to the point when you just realize, like, all right, either you start with nothing and try to make something, or you complain the whole time about not having nothing and do absolutely nothing. You get
Yeah.
what I'm saying? A lot of people forget that,
Yeah. And I've seen Don go through a few different studios. And one thing that I always love about Don is every time you're in the studio with him, he is having fun.
all the time.
You know what I mean? He's always and it rubs off on you. That's the other thing. Like I've been in sessions with artists where I'm like, man, y'all are miserable. You're not having fun. Get me out of here. You know what I'm saying? But when you work with artists like Don and myself and a lot of us that really love this thing, the time flies, and before you know it, you're sitting there like, dang, I don't even want to leave.
Right. I've learned one thing from him the most about the studio is that it's not the gear, it's about the person and them just having fun. Like, look, he's having fun right now with a remote. For him, this is making music, this is partying, this is having a good time. He don't know if this control the lights or it control the air conditioning or the computer. As long as I put it in his hand, he gonna do something with it. You get what I'm saying? And a lot of times we be having the tools right in front of us and don't use none of it.
Absolutely.
Don't use enough. We got the internet. People don't get famous at all. All they gotta do is just have fun, and that's it. You get what I'm saying? Use the tools that's right in front of you.
Right.
Have fun.
Yep. And when you bring up about your son, it just reminds me to add on to that question. What would you tell parents who have talented young people who are young? I mean, they're 10, 11, 12, maybe teenagers. What advice do you have to parents? And that could go for you, Impeccable, as well, because Drew Hill was young when you first started working with them.
Put them around. My mother put me in the Twigs program at School of the Arts. My mother put me outside, just look at other musicians. I saw Drew Hill at the Fudgery. You know what I'm saying? I wish I could have took him to see Drew Hill at the Fudgery, but or the next Drew Hill at the Fudgery. But we don't have that downtown no more. You get what I'm saying? Sometimes just put your kids in front of everything for them to see it. He been in the studio since birth. He done heard music before he even came out of the womb. You get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Just put your kids around everything. And don't look at it as I want them to be the next Jackson 5 because I got all these kids, or I want them to be the next, whatever star, Bow Wow. Just be like, my child like this, put them in front of it and see what happens.
Well, how do you protect them from being exploited? What would you say? There are a lot of parents that will do what you said. They'll push the kids out there, but the kids need some kind of boundaries too, don't they?
Be a parent. Like a lot of times, I'm a fresh parent. This is my first child. I'm 37 years old. I know nothing about parenting other than watching my homeboys come to the studio with their kids. And I'm like, don't touch the gear. And now I'm like, go ahead and touch the gear. Do whatever you want to do. Just give me time to finish the song. You get what I'm saying? Times change. But just be a parent and just let your kids see you living your dream so that they will respect when it's time for them to live theirs. You get what I'm saying? They'll see the process and be like, my dad did his thing or my mother did her thing. Just let them see the process and be a parent at the time.
Absolutely. I'm rocking this Shenandoah University hoodie today, right?
Hey.
My eldest daughter is a freshman at Shenandoah University. She's studying musical theater. And she's been around it all her life, and God willing, she's on her way to Broadway and films and all that stuff. But she's got a beautiful voice, and just from an early age, her mom and I just have always had them around it. You know what I mean? Just, once we recognize that that's who they are, let's go.
Right.
As far as I'm concerned, from Drew Hill when they were 14, they used to just sing everywhere.
Yeah, I remember that.
We used to sing for discounts in the store. They said they started singing because a girl liked it.
Yeah.
I used to say guys probably wouldn't take a bath if a girl didn't tell them they stink. I mean, the guys do a lot of things just for the women's approval. So somebody said, "Hey, I love the way you sing," and I guess it was a pretty girl, and then they can just continue to do it. And then you said about the Fudgery. The Fudgery was Cisco worked at the Fudgery,
right,
and got everybody a job down there. They weren't discovered at the Fudgery. They were discovered at Morgan State University at a talent show. But because, like you said, have fun, they were getting paid to have fun and sing about fudge, and they made the Fudgery a bunch of money. And I kind of hate to say the Fudgery because the Fudgery tries to quote unquote take credit for discovering Drew Hill, which they had nothing to do with it. It was just the fact that they could work and practice at the same time. So he was killing two birds with one stone, y'all. If you just tuned in, this is the Chicken Box powered by the Afro-American newspaper. Go to afro.com. Yes, we are the oldest black business in Maryland, the third oldest black business in the country. And for 130 years, we've been informing, inspiring, and educating people all over the world. We're talking about the Baltimore music scene. we've had a lot of famous. We got famous, and we got famous in Baltimore, and then we got some people. Once you discover it is talent, and I like how you said, Don. It's always the struggle. Why is Baltimore? Why do y'all think it's always a struggle for Baltimore for anything? I'm talking about for signing Lamar, for the respect when they talk about Baltimore, when they talk about the Ravens. You would think Baltimore was a war zone sometimes when it's a really a beautiful city with a bunch of beautiful, talented people, but everybody else tries to belittle Baltimore like it's some drug infested, scene that has no hope or no power in it. What do you got? What's your guys' thoughts on that?
Well, I think one of the things is we don't really we I think we're starting to get there now, but we have not controlled Baltimore's narrative. You know what I'm saying? You've had white men like David Simon tell our story. You know what I'm saying? And so you got you and a lot of that is, people benefit from black trauma, black death. These are interesting stories that David Simon told, and so the world got to meet us through the wire. And then, and things like We Own the City. But he's not telling our story, the story that you just said that we know, the culture, the rich culture, the beauty here. And so a lot of that narrative gets controlled by outsiders, and I think that's one of the reasons. I think there's a lot of different aspects to it, but for me, that's the biggest one that I'm like, I've been trying my best to, and and supporting anybody that's changing our narrative and actually telling our real stories, not just not just trauma porn.
Right, absolutely. Don, what you think?
The narrative has always been negative since day one. The media come here and they just have a field day. Put us as thugs when Freddie Gray happened. Just North and Fulton and Penn North, and just the area is the worst area ever, right? But never look at how it became that. Never look at how it was before that. How the streets was when people used to, wash their steps and all that stuff. Never look at us before that. They always be like, this is Baltimore now, this is struggle, it's pain. Never look at us as black fathers that's taking care of our children. Never look at us as strong individuals that just have a situation where income and politics have totally destroyed our neighborhoods. You get what I'm saying? They never look at that part. But that's right. But at the end of the day, we good people. We have amazing artists. We have amazing talent here. It's just the infrastructure. The structure is the hard part. It's like Atlanta. I could go to Atlanta right now, and I can go to the studio, and I will meet an artist that has $100,000 chain, $100,000 car, and a $500,000 house, because they have met other people in a structured business that have done the same exact thing as them, and they can all say, help me out. You can't really give me an artist from Baltimore that's like, you're an example of that, help me out. Everybody is literally a thousandaire. Everybody is literally working at Amazon trying to come to the studio. Everybody is struggling, right? That is the narrative. So of course TV and all that gonna make us look like that, because that's all they viewed us as for 50, 60, 70 years. You get what I'm saying? That's what it is. But eventually the Baltimore music scene and the entertainment scene has gonna have to finance itself. Like how Easy starting a label and everybody else is starting labels. It's going to finance itself and say, all right, my brother, I'm gonna help you get your stuff together. You want to talk? You got something? You the generation we try and help out. But at the end of the day, it's like we got to see that structure help become something in order for us to say we have a Baltimore music scene, like how New York, Atlanta, California, Dallas, Houston, all these other cities can proudly say they have a music scene. You get what?
Absolutely. If you just tuned in, Dr. Draper, I think you wanted to jump in. Go
I
ahead.
just want to jump in for a minute. And I think you're exactly right. That's why we need the black press. People ask us all the time, why y'all need the black press? We can get our news from everywhere, and we're on social media. Well, we're on social media too, for that matter. But that's why we need the black press, because the black press for 196 years, and we're 130 of those, has been telling those stories. Now, could we tell more of them? Sure. But when people go to Afro.com, and whether you go to Afro.com, whether you go to the Atlanta Voice, when you go down to Atlanta, check out the Atlanta Voice. whether you go to the Michigan Chronicle, whatever black paper, and we're not a paper anymore, we're a media company. That's why you heard my hesitation. But I'm asking that our artists and others come on, support the black press, and then help us to support you.
Right.
Because we don't know what you're doing. So, you know, we'd love to know what you're doing and really blow it up.
You just hit a big part of Baltimore that people don't understand. We don't know what you're doing. That's a beautiful topic. You need to make that a whole nother show. We don't know what you're doing. I look at artists like TT the artist. I use her as an example, right? The reason why she on Netflix because we can see what she's doing. And the reason why Easy is on that same exact Netflix special is because we can see what you're doing. And that's why we on these media outlets and all that stuff.
Right. And we got to own them. We got to, like, so we own our media. We're black owned. We're not black led or black controlled. We're black owned. Right. And so, you know, maybe it's not a lot, but we got, you know, we've got 650,000 followers on Meta, on Facebook.
That's a lot. I'm sorry. That's a lot.
Yeah. So we got that, you know, we don't have that many on the others, but we got at least 12,000 on IG.
Yeah.
We need, you know, so yeah, we need to know. And we do videos and all kinds of things, and we need to support, like you guys need to support too. So,
right.
That was
we are your voice. That's all I'm going to say. You know, and you know, I just wanted to kind of be a fly on the wall to Dr. Draper threw me out there, but of course, I've been with I've been with Drew Hill since they were 14, and you know, and we still travel the world today, and we named ourselves Drew Hill after Druid Hill Park, and that was the point to Baltimore. We have always rep Baltimore all over the world, and in the beginning, it was tough in Baltimore. You had to kind of go outside of Baltimore, blow up, and then when you came back home, it was like, oh yeah, we love y'all, thank you. But you know what I mean. But it was like in every interview, in every space we went, we made sure we said we were from Baltimore. And that was our whole goal, to say you don't always have to go to New York or California or now Atlanta to make it in the industry. This is something that if in fact you're going to grind and you're going to drive, and we could have a whole show about the grind. And Don, I just meeting you easy. I've heard about you, but I understand that you understand the grind. But Don will do anything. Don can work a red camera, if you know what a red camera is. He shot the Christmas in Baltimore video. If you look favorite time of the year online, that was Don Trunk. He shot anything Don said he gonna do. He is that guy. And the thing about it is, look at the smile. You know, I always say on the show, everybody, you need to smile at least once a day.
Right.
It's gonna make you feel. You never come in the room and Don got an attitude. I don't even think I've ever come into space and Don has been angry about anything. I don't think. Now, if you break something in the studio, I think then that's it.
That's it. That's it. That's the anger.
Then Don going to just snap. But other than that, Don is pretty much his energy. I mean, his energy is so good. We have sometimes flown him to Atlanta to record us just because, not only because of his energy, but because he took the time to learn the knowledge and get the understanding of a craft. And yet he's a producer. He also realized that if he learned and sharpened other skills, he could still make money in the industry, without having that big boom or that big record yet. But if knowing you done, it's only a matter of time before that international record. So we're winding down, man. It's been some great comments. Thank you everybody who's made comments or watching on the replay. This is a Baltimore music scene. This is just a part of it. I mean, you got famous DJs, you got famous radio personalities. It was stations in Baltimore along the way that would play and break the music just here locally, even when the radio business is so political. Right. Talk to me, Easy, real quick. Talk to me about your challenge with the radio scene.
I can't really say that I've had a challenge with the radio station. When I saw kind of how hard it was to get on some of the, Radio One and stuff like that. I started out really going for college radio, and Baltimore actually has really supportive radio stations on the college level. So I get a lot of my music played on WTMD and WEAA 88.9. That's Morgan State and Towson. And then and then I got some radio airplay. You know what I mean? Just kind of organically. You know what I'm saying? So um, but I think the big challenge for a lot of artists is, again, like the networking and the capital. You know what I mean? It takes money to get, to get the right people to walk your record into a radio station. It's not, they'll tell you that it's no payola, but it's absolutely payola. You just got to have the money to get the right person to walk your record into the radio station.
Right.
Yeah, look up payola, y'all who don't know anything about music business. Go Google that payola. But they call it now promotion budget
Yeah.
or
Another thing recently, Angel Baby, who's a 92Q DJ vet, she gave me some great advice on the last single we put out, and that was just to find out who all the DJs are. I got a long list of DJs in my contact right now. If I show you my phone, I just type in DJ, we're gonna be scrolling like this. You know what I mean? So so now when I'm dropping stuff, I make sure they all have it, and then that's how our recent record Get Yo ended up getting played on 92Q, because Pork Chop and Angel Baby had it, and it was like, yo, check this out, and we got some airplay that way.
absolutely. So look, we're about to get on the box. This is where we go around because the time is one, and we respect your time. We would love to have you guys come back again, and you're always the Afro is an open door for anything that you're doing, music, whatever you're doing. Just let us know so we can let everybody else know. You got a
Absolutely.
y'all family. Don, you already know. That's like my godson.
Yeah.
But we're gonna go around, and anything you want to say about the Baltimore music scene, or anything you want to say about whatever's on your chest, we can get on the box. So Courtney, I'm gonna let you get on the box first. And I know you might have learned you sitting back from Chicago saying, "What is all this Baltimore stuff?" I've seen all these videos, earn, and y'all talk about our our accents, and you can usually know a Baltimore guy if he's even doing an interview if you're from here. So, but they say we talk funny, but hey, it's all good. Courtney, go ahead.
I have seen that video on Instagram. I was like, oh, okay, interesting. But thank you, Easy and Don, for joining us. Just from like having this conversation, I can tell that you are like authentic and that you're true to yourself and your craft. So that's good that you aren't trying to like switch up who you are just to like make it mainstream. And I feel like Gen Zers, like my generation, we really like look for that and we appreciate that. We like to relate to different artists. So that's good that you're just like staying true to yourself and your roots. So I say keep going, and it's amazing to like meet artists who are like passionate, and you aren't just doing it for the money. You have like a passion and a talent. So that is great to see.
Thanks, Corey.
Thank you so much.
Court, Dr. Draper, you're in the box.
So let me add my thanks to our guests today, Easy and Don. Don,
You hit the mute. You hit the mute.
Don, all the best to you as you transition to Atlanta. I heard you say you're moving out and on your way there. I heard you and EZ both say that some markets are easier than others, and so we're going to miss you in Baltimore. But technology allows us not to be too far away. But this is an important topic, because I think what people forget about you and others, you guys are entrepreneurs as well.
Right.
You are in business.
Yes.
And when people are in business, as much as we're in business to employ people and to do good things, we also are in business to make money.
Right.
We're in business to make money, and then to share that wealth with others who are coming behind you. And so Baltimore has been ripe for a long time for talented artists. The Maryland area, I didn't even mention Tony Braxton, who's in this Maryland area. And then we have so many young, talented artists from all genres. And sometimes, Dawn, you're talking about how we get put, speaking of boxes, in a box. we have people that can do everything.
Right.
You know, we got opera singers. We have folk that
Mhm.
and just need that extra push. And so, just want to thank you again and thank you for being here and encouraging someone who may be watching today and saying, "Yeah, I'm gonna follow my passion. I'm gonna have fun in studio. I'm gonna let my kids touch everything."
Everything.
Except the sockets, no electrical
No
sockets.
electrical, because how we learn. And so, thank you for being with us.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. I'm gonna get on the box. I forgot some people. We got Ruffins, we have Maya, we have Genuine, we have they're not from Baltimore. Well, Ruffins is from Baltimore, but they're from the area, Genuine and Maya. The list goes on of the
Oh,
talent.
and Mesa too.
We got Mesa, and
About to be cut.
well, I'm sure we'll think of somebody before we get up. But I just want to say, your dream is your dream, and nobody can persuade you from the path that you're going except yourself. So listen to what you woke up and received as your dream and follow it. And if it was easy, everybody would do it. It's not like a remote, like that game, Street Fight or whatever, up, down, left, whatever. It's no specific formula for success. The only thing is every day, if you get the knowledge, the understanding, and you work on being the best you. Now, if you say you want to be in front of people, you have to get a star. You have to put the star quality. You can't say I'm not a star. You can't because you're not gonna make it. You have to put in your mindset that I am a star, not only a star, I'm a superstar, because you don't know when it's gonna be your chance and in front of who for your light to shine.
Right.
I used to say to a singer, if you know how you say to a singer, they say, well, sing me something. And then they go all into, well, what you want me to sing and blah, blah, blah. And by the time they do all of that, you're like, forget it.
Young
But
mind.
if you say you're a singer and I say, sing me something, and they go right into it, and then you know that that's what they really do. You know what I mean? And they have the passion, like Don said, and belief. And so I say, keep on believing, keep on learning, and understand the business
Right.
as you move and have people around you. They're like, I need this particular manager. I knew nothing about management when I got into business. I just believed in the people that I was working with. You just need people around you who are going to believe the same dream, and it will get accomplished. So I'm impeccable and I'm off the box. Easy, you on the box, my brother.
Man, y'all said a lot. My closing, I just want to say, for the people out there, just get out there and find these Baltimore artists and support them. I got, put the music on your playlist. You know what I'm saying? We need that. There's a lot of dope talent in the city, and I'm proud to be from the city. So if you don't know, you need to find out.
Thank you. You know what I was thinking about, because I've been between Atlanta and Baltimore. It's a place I can't even think of it. It's a small place, but different independent artists come there every night. You know what I'm talking about? But it's a venue that's kind of set up, and every night, sometimes they'll have poetry, sometimes they'll have hip hop, sometimes they'll have singing. I'll think about it before, but maybe before we get off. But Don, final words, and I'll put you down when you get to Atlanta what that spot is.
Yes, sir. Y'all said a lot of positive things that I think not just artists, but just people in general chasing their dreams, no matter if they're actor, artist, rapper, singer, whatever. Y'all said a lot of positive things that I think a lot of people need to hear. And my advice is just never think that you gotta finish anything. Just start. Like a lot of people think they gotta finish everything. I gotta finish my album by the 21st of March. Just start on it. Let people hear what you're doing. Put a video up. You know what I'm saying? Parents, I'm a new parent, so I can't give you 20 years experience of being a parent. But I can tell you as a new parent that just because you have a child doesn't mean you gotta give up on your dream. It don't mean you gotta stay in your hometown and struggle and pray that your mother had a baby on this day so you can go do a performance on this day. It don't mean all that. You can get up, you can pack everything up right now. You can say, I don't care nothing about the bills. You can go chase your dream and do exactly what you gotta do. You feel me? I listen to a lot of people like Steve Harvey when they talk about when they had kids, and I listen to a lot of people that left their hometown when they had nothing in their pockets, and they just was like, "I'm gonna go do it." Get out your comfort zone. I don't care if your comfort zone is the studio or whatever. Go record somewhere else. Go do something. Just get out your comfort zone and go follow your dream, wherever it is. Whether it's in Atlanta, whether it's in California or New York, wherever. Just go follow your dream. Let your family know that you alive, you straight, you eating, you good, and just go do what you gotta go do. Because at the end of the day, you're gonna look at that 20 years down the road and be like, thank God I did not stay where I was at.
Absolutely.
Just think about
Boom.
this.
And that's the mic drop moment. This is the Chicken Box. This is Black People versus the Music Scene. Go follow these guys on IG or whatever platforms they are. Taryn, if you can put them at the bottom one more time. And visit afro.com for less than 2 Uber Eats. You can have a digital subscription to a place that's going to make sure that the word gets out in the Black community, not only for the past 130 years, which we have an extensive archive, but for the next 130 years. Until next week, God willing, don't forget, call a senior. They want to hear from you. Call them. Call auntie, call grandma, call granddaddy, call your uncle. And just don't text them. Call them. Okay, stop being so lazy. It takes another minute extra just to call them and say, "Hey, how you doing today? I
That's
was
right.
thinking about you, I
Not the
was
great.
thinking about you, Grandma. Bye, man. We're gonna have you in Afro Archives in 20 years. We'll be like, that was you. You were good too. You a good baby. You the kind of baby I like on the plane.
You
Not
got
making noise.
all
So
the
until
words.
next time, easy. Just stay on the line for a second. Everybody, y'all have a perfect day, and help somebody else. Don't make it all about yourself all the time.
Right.
Peace, everybody.